President Donald Trump and his national security aides discussed U.S. options on Syria. President Trump tweeted that he never mentioned when an attack on Syria would take place. He said it could be very soon or not at all. Earlier, Trump had threatened missile strikes in response to a suspected poison gas attack. British Prime Minister Theresa May has won backing from her senior ministers to take unspecified action with the United States and France to deter further use of chemical weapons by Syria after a suspected poison gas attack on civilians. May recalled the ministers from their Easter holiday for the meeting in Downing Street to discuss Britain's response to what she has cast as a barbaric attack that cannot go unchallenged. Russia's UN ambassador, Vasily Nebenzia, urged the United States and its allies to refrain from military action against Syria over a suspected chemical weapons attack and said the immediate priority is to avert the danger of war. He said, and I quote, "I wish there was dialogue through the proper channels on this to avert any dangerous developments." Donald Trump touted tax cuts at an event in the White House Rose Garden. The U.S. president also talked up America's military might. He said that U.S. is going to have the strongest military ever. His comments come as Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia urged the United States and its allies to refrain from military action against Syria over a suspected chemical weapons attack and said the immediate priority is to avert the danger of war. Mike Pompeo said North Korea should not expect rewards from talks with the United States until it takes irreversible steps to give up its nuclear weapons. Trump has said he plans to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in May or early June and hopes the discussions will ultimately lead to an end of North Korea's nuclear weapons program. U.S. Secretary of State nominee Mike Pompeo promised he would be willing to break from President Donald Trump if necessary, saying he would take a tough line with Russia and that he wanted to fix the Iran nuclear deal. Pompeo blamed tensions between Moscow and Washington on Russia's bad behavior and said he would support more U.S. sanctions against Russia. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he backs a cooperative approach to Russian meddling in 2016 presidential elections. He tweeted that he has agreed with a historically cooperative, disciplined approach with Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Trump has denied any collusion and has repeatedly attacked Mueller's investigation as politically motivated. Russia's foreign ministry said it had reason to think that a report by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons on the poisoning of a former spy in Britain was a part of London's operation to discredit Russia. A spokeswoman for the foreign ministry said that Russia would not believe any conclusions about the poisoning of Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia unless Russian experts were given access to the investigation. U.S. President Donald Trump has asked his trade advisors to look at rejoining the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a multinational trade pact he withdrew the United States from early last year. The partnership is aimed at cutting trade barriers in some of the fastest-growing economies of the Asia-Pacific region. It was thrown into limbo early last year when Trump quashed it, citing concerns about protecting U.S. jobs. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei's envoy at Iran's Quds Force gave a stern warning to Israel. Cleric Ali Shirazi said that Tehran can easily destroy Israel and warned it to avoid any action against the Islamic Republic. The Quds Force is the espionage and paramilitary wing in charge of overseas operations of the elite Revolutionary Guards. Former FBI Director James Comey has said that President Donald Trump reminded him of a mafia boss who demanded absolute loyalty, saw the entire world against him, and lied about everything in a book to be released officially next Tuesday. Comey says the US president lives in a cocoon of alternative reality. Sri Lanka President Maithripala Sirisena suspended Parliament until May 8th in a surprise move days after fractures appeared in the island nation's ruling coalition government. The move came after the government promised a cabinet reshuffle after a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who was defeated last week. An Israeli airstrike killed 2 people as tensions across the Gaza Strip border simmered. Israel and the airstrike was launched in response to a bomb attack on a military vehicle on the Gaza border in which there were no casualties. One of the men killed was shot when he came close to the border fence in the southern Gaza Strip near the town of Khan Yunis. Pakistan has deferred signing the second phase of free trade agreement with China at the last moment due to strong reservations of the final offer list shared by Beijing. According to the report, the decision to delay the agreement was taken after the business community of Islamabad voiced serious reservations about the Chinese final offer list. Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz wants to donate his inheritance, which could run to hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, to the bereaved families and survivors of his attack. Cruz walked into Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland on February 14th and opened fire at students and staff. He stands accused of 17 counts of premeditated murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. The presidents of Poland and Israel marched together at the Auschwitz concentration camp, putting aside their differences over a new law that makes it a crime to suggest there was any Polish complicity in the Holocaust. Poland's Andrzej Duda and Israel's Reuven Rivlin joined some 15,000 people in a 3-kilometer walk from the infamous Arbitnachfrei gate to the site of the gas chambers. Activists, reinforced by dozens of their supporters, clashed with police for a third day in Western France to oppose their eviction from an anti-capitalist camp set up 10 years ago. The clashes erupted at dawn when protesters began throwing projectiles at officers from behind barricades set up to defend the camp at Notre-Dame-de-Lans near the city of Nantes. The head of the Swedish Academy, Sara Danius, stepped down after criticism of how the institution handled a probe into allegations of sexual misconduct by a man married to one of its members. Danius told reporters it had been the wish of the Academy that she should leave her role as permanent secretary and that she had made this decision with immediate effect. Volkswagen has chosen Herbert Diess as its new chief executive in an overhaul that includes streamlining the company's multiple car brands into just 3 groups while preparing its truck business for a potential listing. The plans were announced after Volkswagen board of directors ousted Matthias Müller as CEO and discussed ways to overhaul the company. The world's largest music streaming service, Spotify, will buy Louder FM. Louder FM is a San Francisco-based provider of licensing technology to help it to locate songwriters and pay them royalties they are due. The acquisition will help Spotify and the artists and ensure they get paid for their copyright work. Financial terms of the deal are not yet disclosed. Myanmar's biggest and most popular festival, Tingyan, has begun. People celebrate Tingyan in various ways, but the main feature is throwing water at each other. They believe that Tingyan water has the power to wash away the bad habits, evil and sins of the past year. The festival lasts for 5 days. Technology and financial stocks boosted Wall Street as US President Donald Trump suggested that a military strike on Syria may not be imminent. Delta topped profit estimates, sending its shares 2.9% higher and boosting other airline stocks. BlackRock gained 1.8% after the asset manager's profit rose more than expected. The Spanish government signed a framework deal on which Spain will sell Saudi Arabia warships worth around $2.2 billion. Under the agreement, Spanish state-owned shipbuilder Navantia will sell 5 small warships. Spain's army will train Saudi military personnel and contractors will build a naval construction center in the kingdom. Funerals held for victims of Algerian plane crash in Blida, Cuba and Algiers. The plane was carrying soldiers and their families. The plane crashed soon after takeoff in a farm field in northern Algeria yesterday. 257 people were killed in what appeared to be the worst plane crash in the North African nation's history. Russian President Vladimir Putin attended a space exhibition in Moscow. He congratulated space scientists for all their achievements, which he said is helping the defense sector and economy of the country. He added that despite a well-known period of difficulties, Russia is still developing space exploration. A senior Mexican government official has said that Mexico should allow states to begin legalizing marijuana. Tourism Minister Enrique La Madrid, confronting rising lawlessness in and around the resort cities of Cancun and Los Cabos, said it made no sense for Mexico to maintain prohibition given permissive U.S. policies in states such as California. Reality TV star and model Janice Dickinson testified against actor and comedian Bill Cosby during the 4th day of his sexual assault retrial case in Norristown. The model has alleged Bill Cosby drugged and raped her in a Lake Tahoe hotel room in 1982. Dickinson is the 4th witness to testify in Montgomery County Court against Cosby in his trial on 3 charges of aggravated indecent assault. And over to news from India. Congress President Rahul Gandhi and senior party leaders lead a midnight candlelight vigil to India Gate in New Delhi to demand justice for Asifa, the 8-year-old girl who was gang raped and murdered in Jammu and Kashmir, and the teenager in Uttar Pradesh, Unnao, who was allegedly raped by a BJP lawmaker last year. Congress President Rahul Gandhi targeted the BJP over their slogans advocating girls' education. He said it is about time BJP takes women's safety seriously. He also added that the government should act to prevent increasing incidents of crimes against women in India. Chilling details of Kathua gang rape and murder of 8-year-old Asifa from Jammu has triggered nationwide outrage. Celebrities Sonam Kapoor, Richa Chadha, Karan Johar, Akshay Kumar, Farhan Akhtar and many others have expressed their anguish on the microblogging site Twitter. Sportspersons like Sania Mirza and Gautam Gambhir have also expressed solidarity. Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti announced that the state government will bring a new law to make the death penalty mandatory for those who rape minors, condemning the incident of rape and murder of 8-year-old in Kathua district. The Chief Minister in a tweet said she will not let another child suffer in this way. India's investigative agency, the CBI, has arrested BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the Unnao rape case. This comes just after an FIR was registered against Sengar. The alleged rape case had come into the limelight after the victim tried to immolate herself outside Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's residence, alleging police inaction against the BJP MLA. India said that the International Court of Justice will take a decision on the future course of action in the case of Kulbhushan Jadhav. who has been sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on spying charges. India had in September last year submitted its written pleadings to the ICJ in Jadav's case. The ICJ had suspended the death sentence pending final judgment. For the first time, the Indian and Pakistan armies will take part in military exercises under the Shanghai Cooperation Organization banner. The military exercises will be organized in Russia later this year. It was only last year that both India and Pakistan became full members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And let's run you through stories from the world of sport. Indian wrestling legend Sushil Kumar has won a hat-trick of gold medals at the Commonwealth Games by winning the men's 74-kilogram gold. The 34-year-old was not tested through all his 4 bouts and destroyed South Africa's Johannes Botha in the gold medal match, winning in just 80 seconds as he racked up a 10-point margin to end the bout. But before that, Rahul Balasaheb Aware won the gold in the men's 57-kilogram event after an extremely close battle in the early stages of his final bout against Canada's Stephen Takahashi. The 26-year-old surged to a 15-7 lead and held on to claim his first gold at a major multidiscipline event. There was disappointment in the women's 53-kilogram category, where Babita Fogart lost the gold medal bout against Diana Waker. The Canadian asserted her technical superiority, countering Fogart's attacks to gain points. Fogart, winner of the 55 kg category at the 2014 Games in Glasgow, could not find a way back and lost the bout 2-5 to settle for the silver medal. There were more medals in store at other events on day 8 for India, with shooter Tejaswini Sawant bagging silver in the women's 50-meter rifle thrown event. Sawant, the 2010 world champion in the event, shot 618.9, finishing second behind Singapore's Martina Veloso. India's second shooter, Anjum Mudgil, had a shocker as she finished 16th with a score of 602.2. Also adding to India's medal tally were athletes Seema Punia and Navjeet Dhillon, who bagged silver and bronze respectively in the women's discus throw. Punia, who had also won silver at the event in 2006 and 2014, managed a throw of 60.41 meters in her very first attempt, while Dhillon took the last podium place with her final attempt, throwing 57.43 meters. The Indian women's hockey team hopes of winning gold at the Commonwealth Games is over after a narrow 1-0 defeat in the semi-final against Australia. The Asian champions did their best to keep it tight at the pack, but couldn't prevent Grace Stewart's attempt 7 minutes into the second half. The 3-time defending champions held on to their advantage, leaving India to play England in the bronze medal match. Meanwhile, the Indian men's hockey team will look to avoid any such slip-ups when they take on New Zealand in their semi-finals later today. Despite a slow start to the tournament, Shoaib Marine's side progressed as toppers from Pool B after beating England in their final group. And their recent record against New Zealand have been impressive, with India winning twice during their away tour earlier this year. Over to badminton. India's Kidambi Srikanth has clinched the #1 ranking for the first time, displacing Denmark's Victor Axelsen. This 25-year-old is first Indian male shuttler to be top of the rankings and the second Indian to achieve the feat after Saina Nehwal. Srikanth's currently at the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, where he played a crucial part in India winning a historic mixed doubles gold.